In the vastness of the Sabi Sand Reserve in South Africa, the Enuma pride ruled with authority and skill. Composed of 9 skilled lionesses, the group was known for their prowess in buffalo hunting, a skill that ensured the survival and prosperity of all. Blonde 12, one of the pride's leaders, watched the cubs be born with renewed hope. Among them stood out 2 brothers, Sizanani and his eldest brother, who showed remarkable intelligence and dexterity from an early age. Life on the savannah was filled with constant challenges. Every day, the lionesses faced natural dangers and the constant threat of rival predators. However, the pride's harmony seemed unshakable until calm was interrupted by an unrelenting force. The Mapogos, a coalition of lions known for their cruelty and determination to dominate territories, attacked without warning. The battle was fierce and devastating. Blonde 12 was killed, and the pride was forced to flee, leaving behind the safety they knew. The lionesses, desperate to save their cubs, risked their lives to hide the young ones in the rocks, away from the Mapogos' ravenous eyes. Sizanani and his eldest brother, although older, could not escape the destruction that befell their home. The lionesses sacrificed their lives, and only 2 males managed to survive, carrying the hope of a new generation. The trauma of the loss was immense, but the need to survive forced them to move forward, leaving behind the painful memories of their past. Sizanani grew up with the constant memory of losing his family. The lionesses who saved them taught him the arts of hunting and survival from an early age, shaping him for the day he would need to lead. The influence of his mother and the lionesses was fundamental in developing his strategic and combat skills. Sizanani learned to keenly observe the movements of prey, coordinate precise attacks, and protect his pride with skill. As the years passed, Sizanani and his brother became exemplary hunters, following the legacy of their foremothers. However, the peace they had found in the reserve was only temporary. The Mapogos coalition did not easily give up their desire to dominate new territories. The constant pressure forced the brothers to consider the possibility of forming their own pride, away from the threats that relentlessly pursued them. The decision to leave was not easy. Sizanani felt the weight of responsibility on his shoulders, knowing that his pride's future depended on his leadership. The fear of the unknown and the uncertainty of what they would find haunted them, but the need to ensure the survival and prosperity of their lineage pushed them to move forward. Thus, they left behind the relative safety of the reserve, embarking on a nomadic journey in search of a new home. The crossing to the Tints-Valo lands was filled with challenges. The nomadic journey took them through unknown territories, where they faced new predators and rival lions competing for dominance over the fertile lands. The battles were constant, requiring Sizanani and his brother not only physical strength but also cunning and strategy. Each confrontation made them stronger, honing their combat tactics and strengthening the muscles that would be essential to conquer and maintain a pride. Hello guys, if you like our stories and haven't subscribed yet, support our work and subscribe to the channel to help us during this phase. Sizanani stood out as a resilient and intelligent leader. His ability to inspire trust and unity among the Pride members was crucial in overcoming the obstacles they encountered along the way. They formed strategic alliances with other lions, joining forces to face common threats and strengthen their position. Sizanani's leadership solidified as he demonstrated a unique ability to balance strength with wisdom, ensuring the cohesion and loyalty of his group. However, the shadow of the past never completely left them. The Mapogos continued to pursue the brothers, determined to eliminate any trace of their lineage. The constant pressure forced Sizanani to develop an unrelenting survival mindset, always prepared for the next confrontation. The loss of his eldest brother in a battle against the Mapogos was a devastating blow, deeply shaking his spirit but also strengthening his determination to ensure that his family's lineage was not extinguished. After the loss of his brother, Sizanani faced a period of loneliness and introspection. The emotional wound caused by losing his life companion led him to question his ability to lead alone. Loneliness became a constant companion as he wandered the sands of Sabi Sand, trying to find a new path for his pride. The absence of his brother left a void that seemed impossible to fill, and Sizanani struggled to maintain hope in the face of adversity. It was during this period of desolation that Sizanani earned the nickname Ghost. His ability to disappear for days, only to reappear mysteriously like the wind, became legendary among the other lions in the region. This gift was not just a survival skill but also a manifestation of his determination to keep fighting, even when everything seemed lost. Sizanani used this ability to protect his pride, avoiding direct confrontations when necessary and planning strategic attacks against his enemies. Sizanani's determination not to let his family's legacy be lost was the key to his resurrection as a leader. He gathered forces and formed a new pride, bringing together skilled lions who shared his vision of a prosperous and abundant reign. Through his leadership, Sizanani managed to consolidate his dominance over the central part of the reserve, establishing himself as a respected and feared king by his enemies. His journey of resilience and courage began to inspire respect and admiration among the reserve's workers and the tourists who came to witness his majesty. Sizanani's reign was marked by a series of achievements and challenges. He faced numerous threats from rival coalitions, including the persistent Mapogos and the ambitious Burmans. Each battle served to further strengthen his position and that of his pride, refining their tactics and expanding their territory. Sizanani not only defended his domain but also sought opportunities to form strategic alliances that would ensure the security and prosperity of his kingdom. In September 2014, Sizanani made his triumphant return after a period of disappearance. He was not alone. He had found an equally strong companion with whom he shared the throne. Together, they taught the new members of the Pride the art of hunting and the importance of unity, attracting hundreds of tourists who came to watch the symphony of their perfectly executed hunts. The duo conquered the entire central part of the reserve, not only maintaining their dominance but also expanding it to include 4 equally powerful prides. Sizanani's lineage was ensured with the birth of 16 cubs, guaranteeing that his genetics and legacy would endure for future generations. Even as he aged, Sizanani continued to lead with vigor, maintaining the hunting tradition that had been passed down by his foremothers. His determination to protect his pride and his ability to adapt to challenges ensured that he remained a respected and admired leader, symbolizing the strength and resilience of the lions of the savannah. The final phase of Sizanani's life was marked by a last confrontation with the Burmans' coalition, who sought to destroy his reign and take control of the lands he had conquered. During the final battle, Sizanani was seriously injured in the hip, exactly in the same spot where his brother had been wounded years earlier. The injury was fatal, incapacitating him from fighting or hunting. Even so, Sizanani maintained his leadership until the end, demonstrating unwavering courage and unbreakable determination. In the months that followed, Sizanani lived with the help of his companion and the lionesses, who protected and fed him despite his debilitated condition. His presence still inspired respect and loyalty among the Pride members, who recognized the importance of their leader even in his final days. Sizanani's body, though weakened, remained a perfect machine, reflecting the strength and skill that made him a legend in the savannah. On October 27, 2017, Sizanani finally closed his eyes, leaving behind an era of leadership and courage. His passing deeply moved the reserve workers, who had witnessed his rise and fall as a legendary king. Sizanani was buried with honor, in a place reserved only for the greatest lions, symbolizing the end of a remarkable journey and the perpetuation of his story in the lands he once ruled. His spirit, free from earthly pains and struggles, could now watch over his ancestors and continue to inspire future generations of lions to follow his example of leadership, perseverance, and sacrifice. After Sizanani's passing, the atmosphere in the Sabi Sand Reserve was filled with a mixture of sadness and reverence. The reserve workers, who had closely followed Sizanani's rise and fall, dedicated themselves to honoring his memory. His burial site became a sacred sanctuary, a symbol of respect for the lions that reigned there and for the visitors who came to witness the majesty of these animals. Sizanani's lineage, now strengthened with the 16 cubs, began to play a crucial role in the pride's dynamics. Each of the cubs inherited not only their father's physical strength, but also the cunning and leadership that characterized Sizanani. The young lions grew up hearing stories of their father, learning about his battles, his strategies, and his unwavering commitment to the pride's survival and prosperity. Over the years, Sizanani's descendants assumed leadership roles within the new prides that formed. Inspired by their ancestors' example, they adopted sustainable hunting practices and strengthened alliances with other lions in the region. The reserve, which was already a tourist attraction due to Sizanani and his pride, saw a significant increase in the number of visitors eager to watch the descendants of the legendary lion in action. Sizanani's influence also extended beyond the reserve's borders. Other lion coalitions, which once saw the Mapogos and the Burmans as invincible threats, began to respect and fear Sizanani's lineage. The reputation of his descendants as wise leaders and fearless warriors helped establish a balance of power in the region, reducing conflicts and promoting a more harmonious coexistence among different prides. The Sabi Sand Reserve prospered, benefiting from the effective leadership and conservation practices implemented by Sizanani's descendants. Preservation programs were strengthened, ensuring that the lion's habitat remained safe and abundant. Education and awareness for tourists about the importance of wildlife conservation gained new momentum, inspired by the stories of Sizanani and his family. The reserve workers, deeply touched by Sizanani's story, developed an even stronger bond with the lions living there. They recognized that, through Sizanani's sacrifice and leadership, they had witnessed a significant transformation in the region's wildlife. The tears shed at the moment of Sizanani's loss gave way to smiles of pride as they saw his lineage flourish and thrive. In annual celebrations, Sizanani's story is retold to new team members and visitors, ensuring that his legacy is never forgotten. Stories of his battles, his cunning, and his leadership are passed down from generation to generation, serving as inspiration for all who seek to understand the importance of perseverance and courage in the face of adversity. The Sabi Sand Reserve became a living testament to Sizanani's resilience and strength. Every lion that now reigns over these lands carries a piece of Sizanani's spirit, continuing the tradition of leadership and protection that he established. Sizanani's presence, though physically gone, remains eternal in the stories, hearts, and actions of all those who follow his legacy. Decades passed since Sizanani's death, and the Sabi Sand Reserve transformed into a true wildlife sanctuary, recognized worldwide for its diversity and exemplary conservation efforts. Sizanani's descendants continued to play central roles in leading the prides, maintaining the stability and prosperity that their ancestor had established. Among the descendants emerged a remarkable leader named Kiona, Sizanani's grandson. Kiona possessed all the qualities that had made Sizanani a legendary leader: courage, intelligence, and an innate ability to inspire others. Under his leadership, the prides peacefully expanded their territory, establishing protected areas where other animal species could also thrive. Kiona introduced new conservation strategies that involved close collaboration with scientists and conservationists who visited the reserve. He led initiatives to monitor the health of local ecosystems, ensure the availability of sufficient prey, and protect the young lions from external threats. His vision was to create a sustainable balance where lions could live without the constant threat of conflicts with other predators or human intervention. Sabi Sand's reputation as a conservation model attracted more investments and international support. Research projects and educational programs were established, benefiting both wildlife and local communities. Kiona, always respectful of Sizanani's legacy, continued to promote the importance of preservation and respect for nature, teaching young lions and humans about the interdependence of all forms of life. Meanwhile, Sizanani's story evolved into almost a myth, a legend that transcended time and inspired those who sought to understand the true essence of leadership and resilience. Stories of his battles, his cunning in overcoming adversities, and his ability to unite different prides were told and retold, increasingly amplifying his importance in the reserve's culture. On a starry night, under the glow of the full moon, the older members of the pride gathered to celebrate Sizanani's birthday. They sang songs that narrated his achievements and recalled the lessons he had left behind. The stars seemed to shine more brightly, as if Sizanani were watching and guiding his descendants from beyond. Kiona, sitting atop a hill, looked towards the horizon with a deep sense of gratitude and determination. He knew that Sizanani's legacy was not only in the cubs who now led but also in the culture of leadership and respect that had been instilled. With a powerful roar that echoed across the savannah, Kiona reaffirmed his commitment to continue protecting and honoring the land that Sizanani had so dearly loved. As time progressed, the Sabi Sand Reserve became an example of harmonious coexistence between humans and lions. Sizanani's story and that of his descendants were used in educational programs to raise awareness about the importance of conservation and respect for wildlife. Schools from around the world sent groups of students to learn about savanna ecology and the inspiring history of Sabi Sand's lions. Kiona, now a wise and respected leader, continued to expand the pride's boundaries, ensuring that the lions had access to sufficient resources and safe territories to thrive. He established sustainable hunting zones, where prey populations were monitored to prevent overexploitation. These measures not only benefited the lions, but also helped preserve the region's biodiversity. Additionally, Kiona encouraged the integration of modern technologies in conservation. GPS tracking systems were implemented to monitor the lions' movements, helping to prevent conflicts and identify areas needing additional protection. Partnerships with conservation organizations allowed for the implementation of environmental restoration projects, ensuring that the savanna remained vibrant and healthy for future generations. Sizanani's descendants also played important roles in leading other smaller prides, joining forces to form a protective network that spanned the entire reserve. This union strengthened the lion's position against external threats, such as poachers and deforesters. Collaboration among different prides fostered a sense of community and solidarity, reflecting the values Sizanani had instilled in his family. Sizanani's influence continued to resonate in every aspect of the reserve. His hunting strategies, based on cooperation and efficiency, were taught to young lions as an essential part of their training. Sizanani's leadership techniques, which combined strength with wisdom, were exemplified by Kiona and his siblings, ensuring that the spirit of resilience and courage remained alive. At the heart of the reserve, a majestic tree was planted in honor of Sizanani. It served as a meeting point for the lions and reserve workers, symbolizing the strength and perseverance of the legendary lion. Under its shade, Sizanani's stories were told to inspire all who sought to understand the true meaning of leadership and sacrifice. Sizanani's continuous presence, through his descendants and the legacy he left behind, transformed the Sabi Sand Reserve into a sanctuary where wildlife could thrive in harmony with nature. Sizanani's story, passed down from generation to generation, became an eternal source of inspiration, reminding everyone that even in the face of the greatest adversities, determination and courage can transform destiny and create a lasting legacy. As the years passed, Sizanani's story transcended the reserve's boundaries, becoming an emblematic narrative of conservation and leadership in wildlife. Documentaries and books were produced, recounting Sizanani's saga and his impact on the Sabi Sand Reserve. These productions not only raised global awareness about the importance of lion conservation but also highlighted the successful strategies implemented by Sizanani's descendants. Sizanani's descendants continued to expand their domain, establishing new territories and ensuring that the reserve remained a safe haven for lions and other species. The harmony among the prides and the sustainable management of natural resources reflected Sizanani's vision, who always believed in the importance of balance and cooperation for survival. Kiona, now a venerable leader, reflected on his journey and his father's legacy. He organized regular meetings with pride members to discuss conservation strategies and share knowledge. The wisdom accumulated over the years was transmitted with dedication, ensuring that future generations of lions were prepared to face any challenges that arose. The relationship between humans and lions in the Sabi Sand Reserve also strengthened. Reserve workers, now more experienced and inspired by Sizanani's story, adopted more effective conservation practices and developed a deep respect for the wildlife they protected. The close collaboration between humans and lions became a model to be followed by other reserves and conservation areas around the world. On a special day, the reserve organized an annual ceremony to celebrate Sizanani's life and legacy. Lions of all ages participated, symbolizing the continuity and unity of the lineage. During the ceremony, Kiona delivered an emotional speech, reminding everyone of the lessons learned from Sizanani and reaffirming the commitment to maintain the reserve as a safe and prosperous sanctuary. Future generations of lions continued to honor Sizanani through their actions and leadership. Each new leader that emerged within the prides carried with them the essence of Sizanani, ensuring that the values of courage, wisdom, and resilience were kept alive. The Sabi Sand Reserve remained a lasting testament to the influence of a lion who, even after his death, continued to inspire and guide those who came after him. Sizanani's story, full of challenges, sacrifices, and triumphs, served as a beacon of hope and inspiration not only for the lions of the reserve, but also for all who sought to understand the true nature of leadership and perseverance. His legacy endured, reminding everyone that, with determination and courage, it is possible to overcome the greatest adversities and leave an indelible mark on the world. As the years passed, Sizanani's reputation and that of his lineage continued to grow, transforming the Sabi Sand Reserve into a true symbol of conservation and animal leadership. Sizanani's descendants, inspired by his story, kept alive the tradition of courage and wisdom that he had established. Among them stood out a young lion named Tarek, Sizanani's grandson, whose determination and ability to lead the pride closely mirrored the qualities of his legendary ancestor. Tarek faced new challenges that arose with the increasing popularity of the reserve. The growing number of tourists brought economic benefits but also introduced new risks for the lions. The constant presence of humans altered the animals' behavior patterns, and Tarek recognized the need to adapt conservation strategies to ensure his pride's safety. He initiated advanced training sessions for the young lions, teaching them how to navigate safely through visitor-frequented areas and how to use the landscape to their advantage to avoid unwanted encounters. Additionally, Tarek sought to strengthen alliances with other pride leaders in neighboring areas. He organized regular meetings with leaders from different regions, promoting cooperation and the exchange of information about common threats, such as illegal poachers and territorial conflicts. This communication network allowed for a quicker and more effective response to threats, increasing the safety of all lions in the reserve. Meanwhile, educational programs inspired by Sizanani's story gained even more prominence. Schools and universities began including Sizanani's saga in their curricula, using it as an example of resilient leadership and the importance of wildlife preservation. Students from around the world visited the reserve to learn directly from the workers and observers, absorbing the conservation lessons conveyed through the stories of Sizanani and his descendants. The integration of modern technologies in the reserve's management brought significant advancements. Drones equipped with high-resolution cameras were used to monitor the lions' movements, allowing for more efficient surveillance and the collection of accurate data about their habits and territories. This data was crucial for adjusting conservation strategies, ensuring that hunting and resting areas were adequately protected and that the lions had constant access to essential resources. Tarek, now recognized as a visionary leader, implemented an alert system to inform about suspicious activities in the reserve. Security cameras and motion sensors were strategically placed, helping to prevent poaching attempts and protect the lions from human invasions. This proactive approach not only increased the lions' safety but also reinforced trust between the reserve workers and the local community, who began to collaborate more closely in wildlife protection. Despite the advancements, new threats emerged as climate change began to affect the region's ecosystems. Prolonged droughts and extreme weather events made the search for water and food more difficult for the lions and other species. Tarek led initiatives to restore degraded areas and implement sustainable resource management practices, ensuring that the reserve remained resilient in the face of environmental adversities. His ability to adapt and innovate served as a beacon of hope for everyone in the reserve, demonstrating that even in the face of seemingly insurmountable challenges, determination and collaboration could prevail. Sizanani's influence transcended generations, shaping the culture and identity of the Sabi Sand Reserve. Annual festivals were established to celebrate Sizanani's life and legacy, bringing together workers, visitors, and local community members in a collective tribute. During these celebrations, theatrical performances and dance presentations retold Sizanani's story, highlighting his achievements and sacrifices. These festivities not only reinforced the sense of community, but also served as a constant reminder of the importance of preservation and ethical leadership. In one such celebration, a young lion named Zuri stood out for his courage and strategic skill. Inspired by Sizanani and trained by Tarek, Zuri led a group of lions on a mission to protect a newly discovered territory that housed a vital prey population. The mission was a success, further strengthening the reserve's position as an example of effective conservation. Zuri quickly earned respect and admiration, becoming a central figure in continuing Sizanani's legacy. Parallelly, the Sabi Sand Reserve expanded its conservation initiatives to include habitat restoration projects and the reintroduction of native species. Collaboration with international organizations allowed for the implementation of advanced environmental management practices, ensuring that the region's biodiversity was preserved for future generations. Tarek and Zuri worked together to integrate these initiatives into the lion's daily practices, promoting harmonious coexistence among all forms of life in the savanna. Sizanani's story continued to inspire not only the lions of the reserve, but also the human communities living nearby. Environmental education projects were launched in local schools, where children learned about the importance of wildlife preservation through the stories of Sizanani and his descendants. These initiatives fostered a deep respect for nature from a young age, cultivating a generation of youth committed to conservation and sustainability. Tarek, recognized as an exemplary leader, dedicated himself to further strengthening the bonds between humans and lions. He participated in community meetings, where he shared his experiences and listened to the concerns of local residents. This close interaction helped mitigate conflicts and promote peaceful coexistence, benefiting both the lions and the human communities. Mutual collaboration resulted in more effective management practices and an increase in the quality of life for all involved. Meanwhile, Zuri took on a more active leadership role, expanding his territory and establishing new prides that followed the same guidelines of conservation and cooperation. His ability to negotiate alliances and resolve internal conflicts strengthened the social structure of the lions, ensuring that each new member contributed to the pride's prosperity. Zuri's presence ushered in a new era of stability and growth, reflecting Sizanani's teachings on the importance of unity and wise leadership. Hello guys, if you like our stories and haven't subscribed yet, support our work and subscribe to the channel to help us.